Hi everyone. So my name is Jen. Awkward already at the beginning. And this is going to be my, I guess, thank you video for finally making it to 1,000. I did a quick short video thanking everyone. So I did a quick short while I was on vacation because that's where I hit 1,000. I got a message from my daughter on the day we went on an excursion saying, woohoo, you made it to 1,000. And I was like, yay! So I went to check to see and it said $9.95. And I was like, what? So I messaged her, I was like, where did you see that? And she had actually screenshotted it and sent me a picture of it. So I was like, okay, I know it happened. But I stayed at $9.95 like all day. And then the next morning I hit 1,000 for the second time. So that's when I was waiting for me to actually see it before I put up a video saying thank you. But YouTube did actually acknowledge it the first time around because I got a message saying, woo, you made it to 1,000 from YouTube. And I was just like, so happy. So this has been a long time coming. I have been doing YouTube for 13 months now. I started at the end of January of last year, 2022. I really enjoy doing YouTube, so I just kept at it and I thought, well, eventually I'll make it there. There's like how many people in just the US alone, 331 million. There's gotta be at least 1,000 that want to watch me, hopefully. But I made it and yay! But I thought I'd do a get to know me kind of video, so I'm just gonna run through and tell you some stuff that you might not know about me. It's kind of like when you first meet someone and you get to hear all their stories. I'm gonna tell you some of my stories, so I hope you enjoy. 10 things you might not know about me. First one, I like to grow tomatoes. Just kidding, you already know that. I love to grow tomatoes, actually, but everybody knows that already. If you watched any of my other videos, you know tomatoes are my jam. So let's get to the real things. I am 39 years old. I was born October 13th, 1983. Yes, I am that old. I am blessed by not looking that old. I get that a lot, that I look younger than I am, and I don't take it for granted. I have this fear that one day I'm just gonna wake up and it's gonna hit me. I'm gonna look like a truck hit my face. But so far, so good. I drink a lot of water. I sleep when I'm tired. Like, I revert to a 4-year-old whenever I'm tired. So I don't fight it. When I'm tired, I sleep. And I think that the water and the sleep, and I know some people have insomnia. That sucks. I don't have that problem. I could fall, if I try hard enough, I could fall asleep anywhere. What was I gonna say? This is gonna be a long video, I think. My stories tend to ramble. And I lose my train of thought. Just like I just did right there. I'll just go right into the next one then. I'll get quite personal now. I am adopted. And my backstory is kind of interesting. I was adopted when I was about 8 months old. So I was born in October, and in June of the following year, I was adopted by my biological mother's foster parents. They were quite a bit older when they adopted me. My mom, she was 67 when she adopted me. My dad, I believe he was 69. I'm 69 or 70. I believe he was a few years older than my mom. And I believe she was 16 when they got married. So they'd been together for a long time. I grew up on they were farmers, but by the time they adopted me, they were kind of phasing out of doing all that stuff. But when I was younger, there were chickens. I remember there being, I think, a cow. There were some pigs. I remember they raised a couple of pigs and butchered them because I remember one of them was kind of my pet and then it disappeared. And I was like, what happened to my pig? And they were like, you're eating it. That's your bacon. And I also remember I have a memory. My dad had this big garden up on the back of the hill. And I remember going up with him and digging up potatoes for the first time. And I thought it was incredible. I was like, in the dirt was food. And I just remember pulling that potato out and just, the gardening thing has been embedded in me in a while. As a teenager, I didn't do any of that. But then as I got older and needed something to do with my time when my daughter got older, I threw myself into that. Back to my adoption story. So, gosh, my phone is exploding with messages. Can't focus. I don't know how much to get into it, but I'll just say that I am adopted, and I thank God every day for the 2 people that adopted me. Now, of course, because they are older, they've both since passed. My dad passed when I was 7 years old, and my mom passed when I was almost 21 years old. She did get to meet Jade, because I actually had Jade when I was 19 years old. She, spent some time with Jade before she passed. Let's move on to something a little less deep. So I was telling you I grew up on a farm. Well, somewhat, for the beginning part of my life. I was afraid of chickens when I was a small child. I remember being told, go get the eggs, go collect the eggs, and going up to the chicken coop, and those broody chickens, they'd come at you. And I remember just hating it. I'd take a big old stick with me to try to keep them away from me. But it's kind of funny now looking back on it that I was that afraid of chickens. I am also afraid of heights. I am very, very scared. Sometimes I have good days, I have bad days. Sometimes I can't climb a ladder without having a panic attack. And then there are days where I'm doing okay, the excitement of whatever, I can do it. Like we just went to Punta Cana and we went on an excursion and I zip lined. Scared to death. If I don't have to wait for it, I'm always like, I'll go first, and just hook me up and push me. And then there was also, I think it was 25 feet, 30 feet up in the air. I'm not sure. No, it was probably a lot more than that. 30 or 40 feet up in the air. I'd say 30 feet in the air. It was to get back down, you could either walk down the steps or you jump off of, what's that thing called, Jade?
Grappling?
No, where you jump back from the wall and you slowly fall down.
Belay.
Okay, so they had, what is it?
Auto belay.
So they had up at the top an auto belay. That's where you jump and you first start to drop, but then it catches you and then it slowly brings you down. I did that. I told her, I said, I'm gonna do it backwards. So walk me backwards and push me off. So she did, and I did it. It was a little scary, but like I said, some days I can't be 10 feet off the ground, and then other days I do crap like that. I hate flying. I think in my last video I showed a clip of me high on the lorazepam just to get through the flight. I love to travel. That's another thing. I don't love lorazepam. I like to travel, so I know that requires getting on a plane and going places, and someday I'd like to travel the world, and thank God for lorazepam. I would love to get over my fear of flying. I just don't know how. I realize the planes want to be in the air and they pretty much fly themselves anymore. I don't even have to worry about a drunk pilot, because planes, the computer systems, but whatever. I'm still afraid. I just can't. Let's keep going. I am a dental hygienist. That is my actual job. I have been a dental hygienist for I think 17 years now, almost. I graduated in 2006, so whatever that is. I actually went to school to become a respiratory therapist in the beginning, and I'll tell you a little backstory on that too. I am a high school dropout. I actually, that's not funny. That's not funny. It's not funny. Sometimes I laugh when I'm embarrassed or anxious, I guess. So telling this story is a little embarrassing. So if I giggle, it's not because I think it's funny. It's just a weird tick I have. I'm not sure what triggered. There was a lot of, I don't know, there was quite a few deaths that happened during my high school years in my school. And being a teenager, you go through depression and all that stuff. And I think that, I just wasn't right with things. And I just I quit high school. Now, I will say this. I quit high school knowing that I wanted to get my GED and start college. And that's what I did. So I was actually taking college classes before my class graduated, because I went and got my GED and started college. I had an aunt who was a respiratory therapist, and she loved her job. And I knew I wanted to be in the healthcare field of something. I didn't want to be a nurse because I felt like that was just way too much. And I thought, well, if I pick something in the hospital field, I decided that's where I would go. I was almost finished. I think I had a semester and a half left, and I thought, I can't do this. I think it was a week in the neonatal. I just don't think I was strong enough. I was not built to be a respiratory therapist. A lot of patients are terminal when you're a respiratory therapist, or they're very, very sick, and it just was not. I think my first day of clinics, my first day of clinics, I remember she was a very, very large woman, and she coded. I actually found her. I went into the room. I was supposed to like roll her over and do percussion on her back. And when I went in, I couldn't get her to wake up. I went and got my instructor. She was, pretty much gone at that point. They came in, tried to revive her. It was a terrifying first day. I think just because I tried to push through it for a while there, but then I was just like, nah, this is not for me. I need to pick something else. And dental hygiene was in the same building, and it was right across the hallway. Oh, this looks pretty good. You make good money. I'll do that. I loved it. So I became a dental hygienist, and I have enjoyed doing it ever since. Finished with that story. I have had LASIK eye surgery. I was practically blind ever since I was a child. Try to throw a picture up of the glasses that I used to wear as a child. For whatever reason, I thought that if I got like the clear lens, or the clear, what do you call those? I don't even know what they're called anymore. That people wouldn't be able to see that I was wearing glasses. And they were huge and they were thick, and I don't know what I was thinking, and I wish somebody else would have picked out my frames. That's what they are. Your glasses have frames, right? When I got LASIK, I believe I had like 2,400 in one eye, and is it 2,800? Like, they were bad. They were really bad. I was almost, the surgeon told me that I was on the verge of not being able to have LASIK. This was, how many years ago did I do this? I had surgery back in 2007. So not long after I graduated from college, and I'm still 2020. If y'all are on the fence about LASIK, it's amazing, and I love it. I would do it again. So a quick, what you might not know about me, I have a birthmark, and it is shaped like an Aladdin's lamp, and it's right above the crack of my behind. It literally looks like a lamp, like Aladdin's lamp, and smoke coming out of it. I'm not going to show it because of where it's at, but it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool birthmark. At least in my opinion. I think it's a cool birthmark. My favorite holiday is Halloween, and I like the creepy stuff. I'll just leave it at that. I know some people don't like Halloween, but I do. That's okay. You don't gotta like it. I like dessert first sometimes. When I go to a restaurant, I always look at the dessert menu. If there's something that I really, really want, I will order it as an appetizer and have a couple of bites of it before I get my meal, because you know how you get your meal and you eat all your food and then you're too full and then you don't want the dessert after you've eaten. But you did at the beginning, but you're too full to actually want it. So I don't want to get to that point. So I get my dessert for my appetizer and then have a couple bites. And then once I'm done my meal, I'll finish my dessert. So dessert first, I'm an adult and I can do that. I used to run a lot. I don't anymore. But I used to be able to run 12 miles. Like it wasn't no thing. I was really big into working out. How many years ago is that? Jade was probably 10. So like between 8 to 10 years ago, I was really big into working out. And there was a group of us that would run. We just ran a lot. Like on Saturdays, we would run around 12 miles. I have done a half marathon. I have done a 25K. Which is like 18 miles. I've never done a full marathon. It's on my bucket list, but I don't know if I'll ever get around to it. And of course, I've done 5Ks, I've done 10Ks. I like to do the mud runs where you get real messy. Obstacle courses, I've always enjoyed obstacle courses. I used to make my own obstacle courses in my woods when I was a kid, but I do enjoy obstacle courses. So we've done a lot of mud runs. I don't run too much anymore because I put a nail through my foot and I walked on the side of my foot for a while there. Ended up kind of, I think, hurting my knee or did something to my knee. So every time I run long distances, my knee hurts for like days. Like I can barely walk hurt. So I don't do a whole lot of running anymore. I like to lift weights. I don't know why I have my pen. I don't do a whole lot of that right now. Every once in a while I'll work out and lift some weights, but I was really big into trying to build up muscle and I was lifting pretty heavy. But that's my go-to form of working out, is lifting weights. So the last thing I will end this video with letting you know is that Ben and I are, I'm going to call us high school sweethearts. So Ben is my husband, and I have known him since I was 15 years old. He was 17. Ben's a couple years older than me. We met through friends. So his friend met my friend at a bowling alley. He was there, but I was paying no mind to him because I was actually at the bowling alley with my boyfriend at the time. My friend ended up getting with his friend and dating for a while there. So we, kept crossing paths, and we became really good friends. And it wasn't till I was 18 years old and he was 20 years old, I ended up realizing that all the guys that I kept dating were nothing compared to my best friend, Ben. And we were really close friends when we started dating. He'll tell you, I was never your friend because he was always trying to get with me. And I just kept telling him, no, I don't want to ruin our friendship, that kind of deal. And eventually he won my heart. And I am so glad that I finally took that leap, decided I was going to give that kind of a relationship with him a try. We've been together ever since. Not long after we started dating, Jade came along. I was 19 and he was 21 when we had Jade, and she's now 20. I've had her in my life longer than I have not. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Thanks, babe. Is there anything else I should add to that story? High school sweethearts? Oh, I did want to tell you this story. Now, I asked my daughter, is there anything else that I could add to the things? And, like little stories. I don't know why she mentioned this. I guess it's like embedded in her brain. I've had some close calls with my life. One of them being when I was 15, got my license, or 16. I don't know how old I was, but I got a Mustang, an 85 Mustang from a friend of mine. I think I paid $400 for it. And not long after I got it, we were taking it on a ride, a test drive or something. Like, he replaced like the front windshield for me. Awesome friend. And big like mechanic guy, still is. I think he teaches now. So the story she wanted me to tell you guys about was, so we were taking the Mustang for a test drive, or I don't know what we went and had it inspected or something or other. And he was with me, the guy that had fixed it up. But we're coming around a sharp turn, and my back right tire literally falls off, like completely comes off. Dang thing came completely off. I remember looking back in my rear view mirror, and all you could see was sparks flying. You felt the Mustang hit the pavement, and then it really started to slow down, and the back right tire flew right past us and went barreling down a hill towards this person's house. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna hit that house. It didn't. It eventually like veered off and then flipped over. I was able to get the car over to the side of the road, but that was traumatic. But that's the story that my daughter wanted me to tell you guys about, that I had a close call with my life. I mean, it is an interesting story. Who's been in a car where one of the tires completely just falls off? I mean, you have the tires that pop, the tires that go flat like on the road. That's happened to me before because I was kind of an idiot when I was younger. Hit the curb, blew my tire. But this is like the whole thing coming off and just flying past. I loved that car. That Mustang. He put the tire back on and we went on our merry way. And I ended up driving that car for, I think it was a couple of years, or maybe it was just a year or two. But I ended up getting rear-ended and it got crushed. It was like, that's another interesting story, another close call. That wreck. I was actually headed to my friend's house, the guy that I bought the Mustang from, to see about my seatbelt because it wouldn't click into the doohickey. So it just had it across me, and I was like, I didn't want to get pulled over because I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. So I did have it across me, but it wasn't like clicked in. And so he lived around like a sharp turn, and I was stopped at the turn, and there was a car that came around the turn and wasn't paying attention and just nailed me. And I think I have a picture. I can throw a picture of what the back end of the Mustang looked like. But my seatbelt wasn't on. And I am so, literally, there was an angel with me that had to be pushing me down because like my seat had went, the center console of the CD player was in the back seat. Like it completely came out of the front of the car, or the, what is that, dashboard, came out of the dashboard. You could see the springs to the back of the car. I mean, and I walked away from that unscathed. Of course, the ambulance came and didn't let me move. They strapped me to a board, took x-rays and everything but there was like literally not a scratch or a bruise on me with that accident. So there was an angel with me, obviously. I'll end the story with my Mustang story, I guess. But there's some things, some fun stories for you to know about me, I guess. And I hope you enjoyed story time. Again, I just want to say thank you to the 1,000 subscribers. I thank you to all of you that watch all of my videos faithfully. I so appreciate it. It really keeps me going. Every time you leave really encouraging comments telling me that you like my channel, that you like my content, that you like me, it pushes me to keep going, because this is really hard to do. Editing takes a lot of time. I'm tearing up, I'm sorry. But editing takes a lot of time, and I do have a job. I work 3 days a week. I do have a home that I need to take care of. I have gardening that I do, which that's a lot of work. And sometimes this just, although I love and enjoy doing it, I feel like it's taking away from other things. And sometimes I'm like, if no one's watching, why are you doing it? So those of you that do watch, thank you. Those of you that comment and tell me encouraging things, thank you, thank you. You don't know how much that means to me. Even just the smallest thing, when you say, I love your channel, that's enough for me to say, let's put up another video. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and I hope you stick with me longer. This gardening season should be pretty epic for me. I'm kind of going big, going real big this year. Like I said in one of my videos, I'm biting off more than I can chew, and that's okay. I'm going to just, you know, come what may, but there's going to be so much stuff happening. And I hope you all stick with me, and I'll end this long video. It's 33 minutes long. It really shouldn't be any more than 12 minutes, but it's going to be, so I'm sorry about that. Enjoy your day, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.